Hello, folks. This is Bugsy here. Time for another Bugsy review. I know it's been a while since I did one on YouTube, but hey. So, what was I watching? What was I watching? Well, I was watching a little something called Sega High-School, or Sega High-School. But I'm just gonna call it Sega High-School because god dang Sega, just call it Sega High-School. Basically, basically, it was just a way of kind of celebrating everything and everything, everything and anything Sega. So the plot goes like this: we have anthropomorphized consoles, Dreamcast, Saturn, and Mega Drive. Let's just say Bugsy really had a really weird sexual connection to the Mega Drive. Don't freaking ask me, man. I was just sitting there doing Bugsy every time the Mega Drive was on screen. But anyways, guys. Basically, thanks for telling people that. Well, you kind of did. But anyway, so basically, it just celebrated everything and anything Sega. There was a Sonic episode which had when Sonic appeared, when Sonic seriously appeared, freaking we hear the supersonic racing thing. But I was like, the moment I saw Sonic, I was like, I heard supersonic racing. It's like, welcome egg motherfucker. This is Sega Saturn. But anyways, it was just fun. Just the whole series itself. They go into Crazy Taxi. They go. I mean, they don't go into Crazy Taxi. They said they did, but they didn't. They went into Space Channel 5. They went. They made a Puyo Pop game. They went in the Virtual Fighter. And for some reason, they even said this in the freaking last episode. Like Sega Centro didn't appear at all. I'm like, why didn't he appear? Why? It would have been so cool if he did. Like he could have been like, for all we know, he could have been like, he could have been the dad of Sega Saturn. Who knows? That'd have been pretty funny. But they do have a habit of kind of well. If you're a Sega Saturn fan, you may kind of hate how Sega Saturn's kind of downplayed and how Dreamcast gets more of the treatment. But I noticed even Genesis, I mean not Genesis, Mega Drive gets more. Mega Drive doesn't get like half bad treatment. Maybe only when they're doing the Space Channel 5 thing. And I don't know why, but they always get the freaking. They get the. I forget that one Viking's name, freaking Golden Axe, but he makes an appearance. He makes an appearance, and they always make jokes like Saturn wants to like marry him and stuff. I'm like, uh, uh, uh. You know. I think I want them to make a season 2 just so I can see Sega Centro and freaking Crazy Taxi because they talked about it. They literally talked about all these other games and they didn't even go into, or at least make maybe a little OVA that shows like some of the stuff they actually did go into, like Crazy Taxi and stuff. That'd have been cool. That would be cool. But they go into Jet Set Radio, and I love that. And in the Sonic one, they basically go through most of Sonic's games, but but not '06, thank God. I mean, the dynamic between the three Sega consoles is something I really liked. I kind of felt bad for Sega Saturn because I know Sega Saturn wasn't a good console, but to certain fans, most of the Sega fans loved it. I never got to play it, but the consensus is mostly people who like the Sega Saturn like playing it. You know? And, even Digi pointed this out. Digi Valentine pointed this out. Um, that Sega Saturn's design is a little bit like Knight's. Her hair and a little neck ruffle. Stuff like that. And shit, the music that they play in this. I'm telling you, if you are a Sega fan, you are going to notice every single little musical reference they make. Like, and towards the end when they're getting all their medals back, freaking all you hear, like they just show, they like do a little montage saying like how they got through most of what they got through in the last little exam that they had, and you just hear that Streets of Rage music come on, and you're like, shit. There's so many good like, and the funniest one to me is when they're going into a freaking smartphone, and they're just like, I don't agree with the smartphone. I don't agree with it. We should there should always be gaming on consoles. I'm like, they would say that, but Sega mostly has most of their old games on like smartphones now. There was this one RPG on freaking on the smartphone that they were actually playing that was in Japan. I was like, this actually looks kind of fun. I want to try it. But yeah. But Sega. But I want to say this. This kind of brought the Sega fan back out at me. I mean, it was kind of, I was only, I'm a Sonic fan, yeah. I'm a Sonic fan because, Sega doesn't do anything else. It's always Sonic or Miku or something, But watching Sega Academy, it reminded me that I'm not just a Sonic fan. I am a Sega fan. I've always been a Sega fan. I just wish certain games would still get the attention that they deserve. I mean, I love Sonic to death, don't get me wrong. I'll be the first one to defend it. But I feel like Sonic needs, we need to get some of these other characters that haven't had a lot of time, they haven't had a lot of time to shine, since we're focusing on Sonic. And I mean, focusing on Sonic isn't a bad thing. Just let's get these other IPs that they have time to shine, other than Bayonetta, because Bayonetta is on the Platinum Games, but Sega has it too, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool and all, but I really do want to see some of these old IPs. I mean, maybe, even also, probably I want a new Vector Man game. I've wanted a new Vector Man game for a very long time. Please, Sega. And also, if you're, like, please, Sega, I hope Sega Academy or Sega Academy gets another season, please, or some sort of OVA, because it was so good. It felt good. Guys, not to say I don't like the self-deprecating humor of Sega nowadays with all the jokes on Sonic, bagging on Sonic, but it felt nice to just remember all these little Sega IPs that I used to love, and this freaking anime that was made with so much love, caring, and thought put into it. Unlike Sonic Boom, where did that come from? I mean, not the cartoon. The cartoon actually has thought in it. I'm talking about the games, and it just shows that Sega does care. Sega does care about their old stuff. Anybody who says that they don't, they haven't watched that show. But I loved it. I really did. I honestly have nothing bad to say about it other than, they kind of mistreated Saturn, but, they kind of put stuff about Saturn, about Sega Saturn's marketing kind of in the game, kind of in the show. So, I just wish they wouldn't bag on. I just wish they wouldn't bag on Sega Saturn so much. I mean, I never played it, but I felt like even though I wasn't a guy that played Sega Saturn, I felt like, that kind of sucks. I mean, we get it. I mean, yeah, Saturn wasn't like the best console, but at least it tried, man, and at least had arcade shit and some 2D fighters. You know what I mean? It did okay, but that's how I feel about it. But you guys want to know what I give Sega Hard Girls? I give it. I give it 5 Sega medals out of 5. Because, well, mostly if you're a Sega fan, if you're a little bit of a Sega fan, or a Sega nut like I am, you're gonna like it. I mean, if you're a guy that just doesn't like Sega and just wants to hate on it, well, this ain't for you. Especially the anthropomorphized consoles, which I actually did enjoy. But I will say this, though, before I get out of here. The last episode will make you fucking cry. It will make you freaking cry. Because, then we find, spoilers. Before I freaking say anything, spoilers alert. Okay, like, seriously. If you don't want to be spoiled, go find Sega Gaia Academy, watch it, Sega Hi-sCool, and freaking come back. Now, I'm going to talk about it. So, basically, the school is basically just the ideas of the creators, and basically this was just a way of testing their ideas, and basically they go out into the world. First Mega Drive, then Saturn, and then Dreamcast. And Dreamcast, when Dreamcast left, I was like, oh god, you were the last one. You were the last Sega console. I don't care what that one motherfucker on Screw Attack said, that dude that has my cousin's name. I don't care what that motherfucker had to say, because honestly, the Dreamcast wasn't bad. And trust me, if I didn't give my freaking thing away to my sister, I'd still have it. I'd still have it with me. I'd still be playing it right now. It just makes me want to. It makes me want to find my Dreamcast and just like play it. And be like, I miss you, buddy. I missed you. I miss you so much. Or maybe I could just buy one. I don't know. I mean, maybe I could just buy one on freaking Amazon. But, what's the fun in that? But, guys, I really, really, really love this show. And I feel like if you're a Sega fan, you should watch this. I mean, there is really nothing bad I could really find about it. I mean, if you don't like anthropomorphized consoles, this ain't for you. If you don't like Sega in general, this ain't for you. But for the fans that really want to watch it, or, want to know a little bit about Sega's history, because they do talk a little bit about it between the episodes, between the breaks between the episodes, they'll talk a little bit about the history. So, yeah, just something you guys would want to actually see. I think you should. I'm Bugsy, and yeah, this has been a Bugsy review on YouTube. And if you want to see my other reviews, go to Zipcast. Look for Bobo Fan Network. or mock-off redo. You'll find it. There's like a double review I made of Seven Deadly Sins and freaking Undertale, and also Kung Fu Panda. I talk a little bit about Tony Watley II in that review because I I looked at his review and was like, Kung Fu Panda ain't that bad, man. That's the gist of it. But seriously, go check out my other reviews. Also, if you are a Sega fan, I know I'm really repeating myself, you owe it to yourself to watch it. It's streaming on Crunchyroll. It's all free for users that don't have the premium membership, so you have no excuse not to see it. It's so good, and let's just say the freaking teacher character is Yuji Naka. Do with that as you will. But I'll see you guys later. And like always, guys, chaos and mischief manage. I will see you guys later. And also, leave a like, subscribe, and comment. Seriously, it helps me out a lot. And, if you have watched Sega Academy, what is your favorite episode? I'd like to know. I'd like to hear from you guys. See you guys later. See you guys later.